Bo Miller, Oak Level Raceway, here at the Henry County Administration Building, where we just finished up our special meeting here with the zoning committee. There were some newly discovered facts that were not really known at the time where we initially applied for our special use permit, and those facts were presented to the BZA, and they reconsidered their approval that was previously denied. And we had a 5-0 vote on getting our special use permit approved, and we're ready to move on. So we're going to be open for business hopefully March of 2026. In the meantime, we have some pretty cool things coming up. We're going to have an event we're going to be announcing probably week after next, where we're going to draw some money in for the Henry County Sheriff's Department's Benevolent Officer Fund. We're also got an event we're going to try to host in November, if our facility's ready, for a local therapeutic riding group that provides therapeutic riding to adults, children, and adolescents with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And just really excited to have racing back at Oak Level, racing dirt track, short track racing back in Henry County. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it, and so are we. So that's about all I got. Do we have any questions?
So I understand that French Grimes came to the rescue.
I'm going to tell you, in a roundabout way, French Grimes saved Oak Level. It got discovered that French had maintained, his permits from the time that he stopped actually racing till current, and so we actually never fell out at any time of our use, and so that was actually a grandfathered situation to where we could continue on. We'll tell you that had that not happened, I don't think we're standing here today. I think that Oak Level would be a thing of the past at that point in time.
But not just permits, but like I understand taxes, everything was taken care of, right?
Like it never even stopped. I mean, so the only thing that actually stopped was actually the events. You know what I'm saying? From the Henry County business licenses to the state corporation commission tax, or keeping his registered and keeping his fees up, taxes, to there was actually 3 AEP accounts that were current that I transferred to our name, that he stayed active with his electric bill, which in a lot of ways there were a lot of things that prevented and saved, I guess inadvertently. So no, French Grimes, he saved our track.
But I could see there was a little fight in you that you're going to keep trying anyway, right?
Yeah, so we came out, my team, our citizens, and everybody that day were very disgruntled, and we weren't happy with the decision that was made. But I told everybody the whole entire time, no matter what decisions that are made, we're going to support it, but we're going to be professional and we're going to be kind to everybody involved. And so that's what we did. We came out, we regrouped. My team actually went to work that afternoon, and I was here at 8:15 the next morning, 8:15 the following morning, 8:15 the following morning, meeting with Lee and getting all these facts presented for Lee so he could present those to the county, so they could make a decision based on the new facts versus where we were.
Did they not know the paperwork was up to date?
So the mistake kind of fell in the nameage. So when I applied and when I was meeting with the county for the first time, Oak Level was the name that was given. Oak Level is what we thought it was.
Right.
Little did we all kind of take into consideration, when French Grimes had it, it was Fork Mountain Raceway.
Right.
Yeah.
Changed it, didn't they?
Yeah. And so, honest mistake, because literally when I called Lee the first time, Lee said, "All right, Bo, let me get to work on this. I'll call you back." He went and did his due diligence, did his reconnaissance research to find that there was nothing there for Oak Level. Little did he know he should have been looking for Fork Mountain stuff. So, I mean, it was honest mistake early around the board, and I'm thankful that it happened. But, what French did was not a mistake. By keeping up with all of that, that wasn't a mistake.
So he handed you the documents. How did you guys find this new information?
So it's a funny story.
Okay.
The whole time we're actually going through this process with French, he is actually just sending me stuff, just inundating me with all kinds of just information, right? This is what I need. You may need this. You may need that. You may need this. You may need that. And so, the very next day, I'm trying to throw anything on the wall that's going to stick. You know what I'm saying? And so I think to myself, and I go to Karen Grimes, French's wife, and that's who does, French's texting, and there's a business license from 2025 on there, and I'm like, okay, well, I might want to talk to somebody about this. This may need to get presented. This may need to come to light. And so that's what I did, was I actually came down here and sat with Lee, and I said, and Lee, he looked at me and he said, man, that really throws a whole different thing here. That changes a lot of things right there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess God has a way of working and doing miracles and doing things in people's lives and having an effect on people's lives. And for some reason, he had French continue that chain every single year, even when there was a lot of times that French probably didn't even know if he was going to be around.
What did the BZA say during what?
The initial meeting or this meeting?
No, this meeting.
So the BZA didn't have really a lot to say. Once they got presented the new facts, there wasn't a lot to say. At that point in time, just what was done had to be undone because it never was needed to be done to start out with.
I noticed you talked to some individuals out here.
I did.
Did anyone apologize? Did anyone say, hey, we're glad we could do this way? Or
not really on an official level.
Yeah.
I love Henry County and all of its citizens. So for the last few months, I've got to know a lot of them, from our sheriff to different folks around here and different organizations. And so my passion is with what we have going on here in the community. A place for the community members to come and to enjoy, their time. If we can benefit, the animal shelter or the sheriff's department or anybody, I want to be that to the community. This is not one of those deals where I'm not a Henry Countyan, but I want to give back to Henry County and the folks there in the county.
Let's talk a little bit about the neighbors.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video, but someone said that you had someone that still lives literally next to the racetrack, and you had them on the video asking if their cows turned a certain shade of dirt.
Yeah.
And they said no. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll talk a little more about the neighbors.
Well, so that was one of my neighbors that actually he's the closest. I mean, he's literally the closest neighbor that I have right to the track, and he comes over all the time. He's, I think, in his mid-80s, comes over all the time and hangs out. And so we had a packing car get delivered, and he said, well, will you take me around the track? And I said, absolutely. So we're riding around the track, and he said, I just want you to know that was a bunch of bull about what they were saying about the dust settling on people's cows. He said, my cow stood over there for, years and years and years. And he said, I never saw them dust or dirt on any of them. And I started laughing. I said, well, do you mind if we go live? So think about this. I mean, how often do you think that guy's been on a Facebook Live? So we went live, and yeah, he made that comment, and I thought it was pretty funny. But our other neighbors that live around us that have the issues, look, I still want to address those issues with those neighbors, and we're still going to be good neighbors. So, with the grandfather thing, that was one thing, but I still wanted to make sure that the 11 p.m. curfew stuff, the picking up the trash, all of that, I wanted that to get officially recorded. I wanted everybody to know when I said those things, I meant those things. We're not going to keep you up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, okay? We're not going to let people throw beer cans and beer bottles and hot dog wrappers all over your property. We're going to take responsibility, hopefully, for everybody else's actions. Now, I am going to ask everybody, when you come to one of our events, please, 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 please be mindful of what you're doing with your garbage, with your trash, and your behavior, okay? Because there are people that live in that community, and what you do can directly affect them in a very negative way if you don't, be responsible and accountable for what you're doing. So
one of the big concerns for the neighbors was, or I think the BZA board was the road and the usage of it. Do you have any concern of that? Are you looking to possibly address that? Is it a concern at all?
Well, so I mean, it obviously meets the code for Department of Transportation, right? Our road coming in and out, they aren't the best, right? But they obviously meet the code. Obviously, they meet safety code. They meet whatever VDOT requires for people to be able to transfer and navigate. So I'm not too concerned. The only concerns that I would have are when you're coming into our facility, slow down. When you're leaving our facility, slow down. You know, people live there. People's kids live there.
Do you think this is kind of an easy way out for the county? Because it was getting to be pretty controversial.
You know, I don't know. You know, I don't think there's an easy way out for anybody because I think everybody's voices needed to be heard and everybody's concerns need to be addressed. And I think the county did a pretty good job doing that. I honestly feel like, though, 100%, had the county been presented with what was presented initially, there would have never been any of this. You know, we would have just have opened and, you know, you guys would have showed up there, hopefully, and covered our grand opening, you know, or one of our events.
Yeah, but how do you deny racing to a county that created racing?
You know, when I've met with everybody around our local Ruritans, our local board of supervisors, I mean, racing is in the heart of Henry County, and I mean it when I say it. I mean, the spirit of racing is in everybody's, you know, being in Henry County. I mean, I don't know if Henry County is Henry County as we know it without racing.
Right.
You know,
what is racing going to look like? Late models or what? What kind of racing?
Yeah, man. A lot of people want to know the classes.
Yeah, please don't let him race.
So we're going to have late model shows. We're going to have stock fours. We're going to have pro fours. The new thing in racing right now is our Crown Vic class. We're doing that at Ararat Raceway. I announced there. So if you're trying to find a cheap way into the sport of racing, go find you a Crown Vic. You can get a 4-point cage for it, and for whatever you've got in your Crown Vic in your cage, you can come down and race at Oak Level on a Friday night.
Is it like an IndyCar race?
Nope, it's Crown Vic. Crown Vic, so like a literal Crown Vic car, like all the old cars, the old grandma cars, you know, Crown Victoria, I think the Mercury Grand Marquis. There's several different.
What'd they go for these days?
Oh, I just bought one for $3,500. I felt like it was a $1,500 car 6 years ago. But I'm buying mine for packing cars. I'm not racing. I have no skill in racing whatsoever, but I definitely enjoyed my greater learning skills because our track's really, really smooth. So, yeah.
About the, I guess the safety was another concern for people. Can you tell us a little bit about the safety of the crowd, the safety of the drivers? Absolutely.
So it's kind of a funny story. The very next day after our meeting, I was actually here meeting with Sheriff Davis, and it's literally I sign up, he gets me the officers that I need, and it's a done deal. It's not even a big thing. So when the committee was asking me about our security and what we plan on having, we're going to have uniformed Henry County deputies. And so if there is a concern that arises or we have any issues with anybody, we're not going to argue with you.
Just for the record, that's not taxpayer money. You hire them and you pay them.
Absolutely. So we actually go in, and I don't know what the rate is, but yeah, that actually comes from Oak Level will be paying for their time, but they will actually be there, uniformed officers and ready to write, you know, citations if need be.
Right. Running a racetrack, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make money at. But, I mean, to make it all come out, what kind of plans you have to make sure it stays going?
So I think first and foremost, one of the great things that we have is a good team that they don't charge me really anything. So I mean, a lot of our help are volunteers, and so that is a tremendous asset. You know, every time Jimmy's up there in a machine, and Jimmy Mullins, he's in a machine. I mean, he's not handing me a bill. A lot of local companies have stepped up. The tires, we have Farringtons that have helped out with tires. They're going to, and they installed them, I mean, for free. You know, I bought the tires. T.L. Coleman Electrical Company, they've been up and they've donated a ton of electrical work for us. Beverage Tractor, they have locations in Danville, Blacksburg, and in Stewart's Draft. They've got us a couple of side-by-sides. So a lot of folks in the community are coming together for things that are really nonchalant as far as money goes, but if you bring them all together, it saves a ton of money. But I'm not looking for this to be a money-making venture, whatever. I'm looking for the proceeds for a lot of our events and a lot of everything that we do to go right back in the community and to help with this county. Oh, hey, listen, these tracks are shutting down every single day, and there's going to be a day that your kids wake up, your grandkids or great-grandkids, your great-grandkids or grandkids wake up, and these tracks will be gone. You know, short track racing is one vote away from not being here anymore. You know what I'm saying? Literally, one vote away.
Where's the track as far as condition? Like, what have you done? Where are we at with that?
So the track is about 90% complete itself.
You didn't stop, did you?
Oh no, I'm never going to stop, you know. But our facilities, our concession stands are gutted. Our tower's getting the new roof put on it right now as we speak, and new electrical's getting pulled. And we're just going to start putting things back together. I mean, listen, Henry County is a hot dog, and I'm taking this thing as a challenge. Look, you can't sell a crappy hot dog in Henry County. And so, you know, we're looking forward to getting some really good hot dogs here that we're going to sell to people. But look, I mean, you can't fake a hot dog here. There's a lot of things you can fake till you make. You're not going to fake a hot dog in Henry County.
When you try to partner with Martinsville Speedway, try to do some things with them.
You know, so I've spoke with Clay a couple of times. I hope that we can, but I'm going to tell you something. From him to Joey Arrington, the support that I've gotten from people that know a lot more about racing and have a lot more experience in racing has just been outpouring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, oh, by all means. Yeah, I actually reached out to him. Somebody said he might have some bleachers at one time, so I reached out, got his personal cell phone number. He answered the call, took it, and when he hung up the phone, he said, if there's anything else I can do for you, don't hesitate to call me. Yeah, I'm sure, you know.
That's not competition at all.
No. I mean, we're trying to get 500, 600, 700 folks tonight. That dude gets, what, 100,000 folks, I'd say? I don't know. No, it's not going to hurt him at all.
Tell us a little bit about your racing history.
All right, so racing history.
Yeah.
Been a racing fan my entire life. Coming out of college, got into the dirt late model scene, just going to watching races. My wife and I used to do a lot of that. To kind of fast forwarding, our little boy, when he was 9 years old, started racing modifieds and crate late models. We did that all the way till supers, and then he kind of got a girlfriend, went to college, kind of moved on, started doing his own thing. So our racing kind of stepped back as far as our actual team. But we kept supporting some drivers and some local things going on. Langley Austin at the time was promoting Franklin County. We would jump on board with him and do anything, you know, as far as maybe doing a little bit of sponsorship there. We actually have a couple of guys that we help out on a regular still today to really at that point in time wanting to pull some of these tracks back out of the weeds. So E.C. Hunley had did a video of Oak Level Raceway, and I'm sitting there watching the video, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of this thing still there. And so I reached out to my friend Langley Austin, and he said, let me get you French Grimes' phone number. And so I called French, and he said, I'll meet you there the next day. And apparently it was a perfect storm, because I think a lot of people over the years have tried to buy or have been interested in buying Oak Level, and he just hasn't sold it. And, you know, long story short, we met, we talked. I guess he could see that I meant business. I
Kind of like your passion.
well, yeah, and I think you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I could definitely tell. I can still feel his passion. Yeah, I can still feel French's passion, though. And I knew that, well, I hope he's at our first race. I think it would mean more to him than probably a lot of folks realize.
Let's talk a little bit about, again, people, I mean, I would say across the country saw this story, you know, with all the media that it got. Tell me a little bit about your demeanor of not, you know, going after the board and saying, go destroy them, but
So my biggest role model in my life was my grandpa, and he passed away, and I think he was 94 years old. And one of the lessons that he taught me early in life was, if you ever want to have a good neighbor, you got to be a good neighbor. And so that's the mindset that I've taken this whole entire time. You know, if our neighbors have a problem, I've got a problem, right? If the county that we work with, they have a problem, then I have a problem, right? And I take that personal, and I want to be able to address that, and I want to be able to move on, right? Because the ultimate thing about our track and our facility is I want it to promote good times. You know, whether it's the lady that calls me up in tears and said, my dad died when I was 7, and the best memories that I have of him that I can recall are right over there coming out of 4, you know, or, you know, my brother used to be here, my dad, my grandparents. This is where life is. At the end of the day, it don't matter how much money you have in your bank account or how much stuff you have this. You have your memories, right? And that place rekindles so many good memories for so many people. And so I want it to be the place where people can come and make new memories and remember their old memories, right?
Anywhere to make up sprint cars? Anywhere in there?
I'm not going to shoot down sprint cars at all just because that's a French Grimes passion.
Yeah.
I'm not a sprint car person. We're stock car people. We're late model folks.
Right.
I'm going to tell you, I've announcing at AirAt this year have grown a love for four-cylinder stuff. So the stock fours, the Pro fours, those guys are getting it done on a scale that to them is a pretty grand scale, but on the grand scheme of race cars is very, very minuscule. And they put on some of the best shows I've ever seen. And so, yeah, those are the folks that we're really going to promote a lot of, And speaking of which, we have our Stock 4 World Championship race coming up at AirAt Raceway. I think it's the 14th of November, but I'm probably getting the dates wrong. That's going to be a $10,000 win race. We're really excited about that. We've already got, I think, 40 entries signed up for that. We're limiting it to 60. It's going to be a little bit chilly, but there's a lot of money on the line for that. And we're going to do a lot of things like that. Give those folks that aren't used to being able to race for money like that the opportunity to race for money like that.
How do you schedule this where it doesn't become a conflict for each other?
We work together.
All right. Will the races be some at the same times, or how will that work?
No, we're going to race at Oak Level on Fridays, and then AirAt will be Saturdays.
Got it.
Yeah. So, and we're going to work with all the other tracks. So, like yesterday, Perry Brown has come down now multiple times to help me out. Him and his dad, Fred, own With Raceway in Withville, Virginia. So, we've got a really good relationship. I'm working with Chuck right now at Friendship in Mount Airy, Virginia, or Mount Airy, North Carolina. So, we're just going to try to make sure that we're not stepping on everybody or each other as best we can. For us, though, we've kind of got the ultimate because Oak Level Raceway was Friday nights. People getting off at 4 and 5 o'clock, going home, getting cleaned up, getting whatever, and getting to the racetrack. That is what the culture was, and that's what I think people want back in our area is that, hey, let's go racing. It's Friday night. Let's roll,
We're looking at next year?
Yes, sir. So we're hopefully going to have our schedule released really soon. We're going to have 20 events between March and October, racing events. The other events that we're going to start promoting are the agritourism events where we're going to do horse stuff, tractor pulls, monster truck shows, and things like that. But those don't count or won't be part of our racing events per se. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
So
another day.
we'll probably do some Saturdays, some Fridays, and Saturday intermingling of that as long as we're not racing. You know what I mean? And if it ever comes to where we can bring in some of our racing in with maybe an agritourism event, then we may try to do some of that too. But really generating money for local farms, local organizations, our county civic organizations, that's paramount,
So community give back.
It's what we're going to try, as much as we
Like
can.
the BZA?
Everybody is welcome. Everybody is welcome. Even our neighbors. So look, that was one of the things. So when I was talking to our neighbors, if you're not a race fan, racing's not all we're going to do, So, you may be into tractor pulls. You may want to come and see the horses. You may want to come see an antique tractor show. Those are things that you can do there. It has absolutely zero to do with going in a circle fast, So,
No, I know back in the day I used to drive bikes back there. I used to be a little dirt bike track. We used to race like 75s, 125s.
Yeah.
And they did do 250s. Would there be any actual plan to maybe look at that as well in the future?
So I keep hearing about that. I keep hearing about go-karts.
Yeah.
The main thing that we're going to try to establish right now, though, in our infield is that area to do like tractor pulls and horse shows and things. So at this point in time, we don't have that in the works. But hearing those stories about the motocross track and the go-kart, it kind of, makes you think a little bit, But I think that there's a lot of things that we can offer in our facility that's not motorsports related that would attract other people to come and want to be a part of it. So,
How happy are you right now?
I'd be lying if I told you that I wasn't a 10 out of 10, because of course I am. I'm a 10 out of 10. But I never gave up. Like when I left here that day, I didn't feel like we weren't going to open. I knew I was going to try to find a way. Or there was a path that may have already been found for me. I just needed to find it. But no, I'm ecstatic. I'm really happy for our team. I'm really happy for everybody that they got brought up with the ride, and then everybody kind of got let down, and now we're kind of, looking forward again. But I think I'm more happy than anybody for our community, our local community, because it means a lot more to them. I don't know yet what it means to me. What it means to me right now is I get to play on my tractors and my equipment. I get to hang out with people that I really have grown a love for, right? That's what it means to me right now. I don't have Grandpa and my memory with Grandpa there, or my last memory of my dad there, or whatever. But I'm looking forward to starting to get those memories. So the only way we're going to do that is we're going to start racing.
What's your memory from today?
Today?
What will it be?
I think the main thing is just learning that people can get presented with the facts and make a better decision. And they're not afraid to say, hey, we were wrong, or we should have dug a little bit here before we went there.
So you think the employees and the board did a great job of that?
I think today they did a wonderful job, by all means. And honestly, that doesn't mean that I didn't think they did a great job before, right? So
right.
I think, honestly, though, had all of the information been there, that would have never occurred.
But then the real story is that racers saved the day. Because
So
racers that saved the day.
French's series that he came up was called what?
Race saver.
Race Saver.
Yeah. Right.
It's funny, the man that worked and had his track to make racing cheap enough for everybody that it saved racing, at the end of the day, saved racing. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, all right. Anything else, y'all?
That's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank y'all for y'all's support. I really appreciate it.